Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Simtrax Broadcasting. We are coming to you live here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Excellent race we're going to see here tonight as we've got over 20 drivers who have laid down qualifying times and are getting ready to get out onto the track here after a little bit of a warm-up out there. They're going to try to smooth out this track, rubber it up just a little more as we see Scott Fleener out there in the number 49 Ford whipping around turn 3 and 4 there, and the Duncan machine is looking across the line right now, currently sitting in 8th during the warm-up, but I wouldn't sweat that too much, seeing how this race is going to go tonight. Going to be a little bit of drafting help they're going to need from one another out here. And Douglas, you know, when we come to a track like this that is all about the draft, what do?
I can tell you what, Indianapolis is one of those tracks where you can definitely have a little drafting help when it comes to the front and back straightaways, and particularly the back straightaway, because it is so long, you can end up getting a little bit of drafting help going down the back straightaway. And you want to be the driver in front in that case, but otherwise, I mean, not really much drafting help from a lot of people, but it's going to be an exciting race.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be pretty tough out there. As we see out there in the chat, looks like Mama Goose is joining us here tonight, along with William Page and Devin out there, asking when is it starting. A little bit slow here tonight as we're getting ready to get underway. About another minute left here in the warm-up, and we'll be starting out there on the grid. Cam Barnes is another driver we're going to be having an eyeball on out there in the 97 Chevrolet. Looking to have a good run here tonight in the Pepsi machine. Right now, a couple extra drivers getting ready here, and we'll have the Apollo Creed 150 kicking off here. Right now, Big Machine Records are presenting that here tonight. 60 laps, 3 sets of tires down in the pit, and a 67% fuel limit. Of course, there are no fast repairs here in this fixed setup league. Douglas Ross joining alongside me tonight, and a blistering temperature out there on the track, 120 degrees, so I don't want to hear any complaints out of any of the drivers that the tires are not sticking to the track like they want. So this is going to be pretty tough here. The USRL Cup Series here tonight as we get this one go ahead and knocked off. I appreciate you guys joining us here tonight as a little bit of a switch up here. You guys are used to seeing us on Saturdays. We have adjusted to Thursdays since the Truck Series has completed, and that has come to an end for the Track and Turf Series. So now we move on to the Cup Series here on Thursdays, and that should do it for our warm-up here in just a moment as they get ready to get this one underway here in just a moment. Right now, we're still waiting on them. We've seen here Indy races, you know, when we get in either the Formula cars or NASCAR. We've even seen, you know, like little mini cars, like late models. It's going to be tough to break the draft if you can get separation. We'll see down the front and the back straightaways, guys weaving and bobbing around a little bit, trying to see if they can get away from the other drivers. But sometimes when they get up around 200 miles an hour, it's about impossible to make that happen.
Yes, it is definitely a little bit impossible, but it is possible when it comes to the Xfinity cars with that little bit of drafting help. I mean, you're going to have a little bit more horsepower in the Xfinity cars than you would a truck, but the draft is going to help because we could be seeing speeds hit about 200 miles an hour going down the back straightaway.
Yep. But right now, as it looks like Justin Krasinski gets out on the track, that's going to go ahead and give me the cue to go ahead and let's get this starting grid kicked off here. Alexander Gonzalez will be starting in the number 1 spot next to William Page, 1 and 2. Richie Joplin will be starting in 3rd, and Scott Fleener, our 4th place driver. Moving on to row number 3. Stephen Merzlak sits 5th next to Gage Donahue. We're hopefully to see that 90 Toyota really come in clutch here tonight. But Luke Smith starting a little farther back than normal, 7th, and Justin Krasinski will be his outside. Cam Barnes, we saw him out there in the Pepsi machine. He'll be starting 9th next to Darren Ingram. David Callahan, 11th next to Dawson Guzik. Oddly enough, yes, that's big Dawson Guzik from over at the Bandit Racing League. The 04 machine is going to be out there rolling on through to see how he starts out in the 12th spot, row number 6. Moving on to the final drivers in our field here. Hen Bordeaux will be starting 13th next to Zach Krastowski. Tommy Bordeaux will be starting 15th next to Daryl Harris. And we'll see who is able to get behind the wheel here tonight as I'm getting a few notes out there Noah Joyce and Brandon Newby will be behind the wheel. John Peterson will be behind the wheel as well as we start 19th. And I believe Jay Tway is not going to be behind the wheel here tonight. He's trying to get up and muster up a little courage out there to get him out there on the track. So I had 20 drivers down to 19 before we even start this race. It's going to be pretty tough out there to see them shoot back and come alive here for the remainder here of this race. I'm excited to see how this works out here, Douglas. But man, oh man, I don't know. 60 laps, it's not going to be too much, and we'll see how it goes.
Yes, definitely 60 laps is going to go by pretty fast, and we got to watch these drivers going into the corners on these tracks. Because some people are pushing up, some people are getting loose. It's going to be an interesting race, I can tell you that.
Alrighty, well, we're getting ready to get this underway. I'm hoping we've got something going on out there. Trying to make sure out there in the chat. Guys, are you saying you're not getting any audio out here? Right now I'm trying to make sure we're not messing anything up or missing anything before we get this one underway here in just a moment. Make sure they're not too far off. Maybe you guys are slacking off a little bit out there. Maybe we're running a little behind. Let's go ahead and get this underway. Green flag is out. And Stella out there saying the audio is fine, so we should be live and hot. As the green flag rolls on out, Alexander Gonzalez, out he goes. And he's going to get that huge lead he would love to get started with, and that's going to work out perfect here. Nice big jump out in front by half a second, moving back to William Page, currently sitting third.
Alexander Green wasting no time at all, grabbing that #1 spot and really extending it down the back straightaway. Charles Joplin is second, and we got a battle going on for third right now between Steven Merzlack and William Page. Page will settle back to another spot in spot #4, and here comes Scott Fleener trying to join the fight.
Yeah, Scott Fleener, like I said, he was starting way back. He's now back up to fourth, where he originally started this race. William Page has dropped off the table, though, as he now falls down. Fights back up to fourth. He had fallen down to fifth, and right now he's sitting there working on the outside line in that mellow yellow machine. So rotate through. I am amazed to see how the leader got out front. Out front a lot farther than I thought he was going to be. That is something.
So right now, looks like the top 3 are gonna break away from the rest of the field. Currently got a battle going on for the #6 slot, I believe, between Justin Krasneski and William Page. Page is starting to drop back a little bit in the field.
Yeah, he definitely had a hot lap, but it doesn't seem to be repeating itself here. Page now down to 7th. He is the one losing a bunch of positions here. Another driver losing a ton of positions, K.H. Donahue. We'll figure out what's going on with him, as he's currently now nestled into 19th and has yet to leave the pits of lap 1. I don't know, after he's now entered the box for 32 seconds out there. As we take a look on top of Darren Ingram's car, that is Cam Barnes shooting here to the inside. Another Exalted machine still getting away, though. Looking back, as it looks like the Sunoco machine out there is Noah Joyce. Yep, that's him. He's getting ready to work his way on through. And, oh, man, bad turn here by the 21 machine of Darren Ingram. Looks like he almost gets up into the wall, and that's causing more and more problems out there on the track as we rotate farther up front. I am fairly certain that is Luke Smith and Scott Fleener going at it there, Douglas.
Yes, Scott Fleener and Luke Smith were going at it for a little bit, but Smith is prevailing out of that battle for spot #4. Fleener will settle back into spot #5 right now, as everybody is staying single file throughout the top 10. And it looks like we might have a battle. I believe that is for the #9 slot. And that is actually the #12 slot, excuse me, between David Callahan and Daryl Harris. 2 drivers trying to make moves throughout the field. Oh, and Harris has caught the wall.
Oh, man, yeah, Brandon Newby right behind him in the #14. Not sure if there was any contact before that nudge into the wall. Did look like the #9 of Daryl Harris did get loose. Got up into the side of the safer barrier wall, and that just caused him to lose, unfortunately, 1 position, but I believe to the inside. That is Hen Bordeaux in the Baskin-Robbins car, moving on through. Yeah, Baskin-Robbins. Normally it was Baskin-Robbins last time. All right. see if we're still out there racing that car tonight. Yep, there it is, Booskin Robbins. I want to make sure I had it right.
Here we go for a battle for the number 9 slot. Noah Joyce tried to sneak in onto the inside of Dawson Guzik, but it looks like he thought better of it. Joyce will still settle back into spot number 10. Guzik hanging on to the number 9 slot.
Yeah, Douglas, check out the battle up here for the lead as Rich Joplin just shaved off about 0.4 of a second last lap. Holy cow, he's on the roll here. Right now that Chevrolet is bringing in Alexander Green kind of to a dead halt here. That nice half-second gap he had no longer.
Most definitely Alexander Green, his lead is gone. Charles Joplin is probably about 0.2 back as he's losing a little bit of ground off of that corner, so he's going to have to try and regain the ground that he lost. And right back in spot number 3 is Steven Merzlach. He's getting a good show of this. But Charles Joplin right into the inside of the corners, gaining in on that ground. I can tell you what, Joplin seems to be better in the corners, but Alexander Green, he's getting him on this corner right here.
Yeah, well, we're still giving it a good run, though, as these two guys, 1, 2, 3, are starting to get a great way. They are out by at least a second before you can look back and find Luke Smith, but that gap is starting to get closed pretty well out there, and it's trying to see if they can reel them in just a little bit, rotate back. Dawson Guzik up to 8th now. That's 4 for him tonight. William Page looks like he finally slows down, losing only 7 now, down to 9th, which is a heartbreaker, and Noah Joyce up 7 for the 10th position. But right now, I think with the whole thing that will make me scratch my head here is only 7 laps. We're crossing the line to start lap number 7. And I'm looking at 1st through 18th is almost separated by 9 seconds. So you thought these guys were going to be a little bit closer out there, but Douglas, I think I won the bet here, buddy.
I think you'd most definitely won the bet on that one, but definitely don't count out anybody. I mean, a caution could come out at any time, so don't count out anybody. And I can tell you, one person that we can't count out just yet is Steven Merzlach, as he is starting to gain a little ground on Charles Joplin for the number 2 spot. So Merzlach trying to insert his way into that battle.
Yeah, well, trying to see what in the world is going on. It is starting to shuffle up a little bit. Guys who are falling back are now starting to make up ground and catch up to the front 3. Luke Smith being one of them there. Scott Fleener, I'm sure, will join in here in just a moment, but it's extremely hard when Fleener is looking at least a second before he can reach out and touch Luke Smith here. I'm wondering if some of this is trying to do some tire conservation out there and reel these guys in. But you want to talk about a wild race when you got such a large track over 2 miles and these guys are scrambling to get each other here. I'm wondering if there's anything that they can do differently to try to clump everybody back together here, make it a little more racing.
Most definitely, and I can tell you this, from what we've already seen, we have already seen 8 laps of this race. We already know what the preferred line is, because some drivers, they end up getting up in that high groove. That high groove is obviously a big no-no tonight for this track. So I think the inside line is going to be the preferred line when it comes to these cars. As everybody is...
Come on, Douglas. You can't. Your preferred line, we're single file. There's no way anybody's chasing each other. It looks like everybody's just trying to wait somebody out here, which unfortunately Cam Barnes looks like he's getting ready to take on Justin Krasinski for the 6th position. Not sure if he lays off a little bit. I would say some of these guys are stronger in between the turns, and some are better at the straightaways. So we do see a lot of seesawing effect out there of who is going to kind of shuffle up a little bit here, who's going to reel in somebody else, and you're just not seeing anything different as everybody else is starting to clump together out here. And we'll take a look at where our guys are right now. 1, 2, 3, and about 4 are getting away by almost 2 seconds. Then we see Scott Fleener, Justin Krasinski, and Cam Barnes. And right now, a little shuffle there from Krasinski as it looks like he takes a look on the outside of Scott Fleener, decides not to, tucks right back in single file. And then we reach all the way back to David Callahan and William Page. These guys are starting to snug up as Page now makes the breakaway. Callahan, Joyce, and Darren Ingram are pretty close, and you hate to see it when guys start getting that far apart. It doesn't really, team racing-wise, anything's going to be different out here. I think somebody's going to have to make a mistake out there, but if I'm not mistaken, we've got somebody in trouble out there. I think Scott Fleener just lost that 5th position.
It looks like Scott Fleener did lose that 5th position to Justin Krasneski. So Krasneski breaking into the top 5. Fleener will have to settle back into spot number 6, and right behind him, Cam Barnes is right now starting to gain a little ground.
All right. Now they're still battling out there on the track. Out there on the track, they are trying to find a little bit of a groove out there. Right now I know Dawson Guzik would like to get up to the front as William Page is now starting to come on hot. Page now up to 9th, and now he's looking for 8th here. Not showing anything what happened with Donahue out there. I don't know if there was a penalty imposed upon him here.
And I can tell you what, while you're focusing on that, I'm actually focusing on the battle for the number 3 slot, as we actually had a change for the number 3 slot. So Luke Smith just managed to pass Steven Merzlach for the number 3 spot.
Excellent. Excellent. Glad you said that, because that is true. Luke Smith is now up 4. That's bringing Joplin, Smith, and Merzlach. Their Chevrolets chasing down the Toyota out there of Alex Green. Right now, Alex Green would love to see if he could come up with some sort of an opportunity here to get his way up to the front. But man, oh man, it just seems to be pretty difficult when you single file chasing each other out there. Is it kind of a game of cat and mouse here?
It may be a little game of cat and mouse when it comes to some of the battles that we've seen out here, but that's what makes it exciting.
All right. And we take a couple peeks around out here. I do want to kind of hang around and see what Darren Ingram's got going on as he drops out of the top 10. Up 5 for both Joyce, Newby, and Peterson. As 12th through 14th. Tommy Bordeaux is our only driver other than our leader, who has yet to move any position so far here tonight. And Bordeaux dropping down 3. Zach Krastowski dropping down 3. And Mr. Donahue, unfortunately, has dropped 12 here tonight. And that is definitely heartbreaking for his race here. And if I'm not mistaken, checking out there, I believe Daryl Harris may be our first driver, other than Jay Toy not taking the wheel there, that may have taken it back to the garage. He only made it about just shy of 9 laps out there. I was looking to see if he came down in the pit, if he was trying to return or if something had happened. But it does not look like he's going to be returning or be able to regain any of that. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about this battle for second place?
Yes, the battle is heating up for second place as Charles Joplin, he manages to get passed by Luke Smith. So Luke Smith now sitting in the number 2 slot. And while we were talking about that, Joplin did catch the wall a little bit coming off of turn number 2. So Joplin is going to have to settle back into spot number 3 and try and gain that spot that he lost.
Well, we'll double check and see if Joplin has any damage out there as we sit inside Steven Merzlach's car looking forward. And they are trying to see if they can see something going on, if Merzlach's going to find a soft spot and get himself into a top 3 position. But he's still going. Right now, DJ Harris saying no skill, no luck, no clinging on to the last transfer spot and points by hopes and dreams. Don't say that, man. You just got to put the laps down. That's why I've been telling Jay 100 times. You just got to get out here and try to put the laps down. The only way you're going to learn, you got to start putting miles on the car and time in the sim. Let's go ahead and rotate back. Now, I think, if I am not mistaken, I think Tommy Bordeaux has just finally picked up his first position. Moving up to 14th, John Peterson goes into the rearview mirror.
Tommy Bordeaux trying to make some noise here in the back of the field, so he's going to advance to spot number 14, and everybody is pretty much staying single file. Unfortunately, Charles Joplin, he did end up losing ground from the top 2, One driver that is gaining ground on the leader is Luke Smith as he's trying to chase down Alexander Green.
Boy, that would be something if he's able to come all the way back from outside the top 5 to reel in our leader, as everybody else is still playing chase here. Right now, still trying to reel him in, though. Luke Smith trying to see if he can do something a little bit different, checking some of our last lap times, and still beating him is Luke Smith. Almost has him by 0.2 of a second here, as he is starting to quickly reel in Alexander Green. Now, as we watch through the straightaways, though, Alexander Green does try to break the draft. You notice he'll ride high, drop back down to the bottom, ride high again. He's trying to get Luke Smith off his rear bumper here, but the more they stay in line, the more that's helping Luke Smith starting to gain time as he's breaking down only a 1/4 of a second behind.
We're a second behind indeed. Luke Smith is actually gaining on him a little bit. He seems to be getting him entrance of the corners, but it looks like, oh, Alexander Green, he's really getting loose trying to control that race car. As right now, Luke Smith, that actually manages to gain some time on Alexander Green. Charles Joplin is in spot number 3. Justin Krasneski, he managed to find himself into the top 5, currently sitting in spot number 4. And rounding out the top 5 is Steven Merzlach.
Yeah, as we take a look over top of Alexander Green and Luke Smith here, Smith starting to gain speed toward the top end of the run on the straightaways. And right now, Luke Smith, and once they break over about that 185-mile-an-hour mark, you do notice they are starting to pick up a good bit of speed here as we get in the chase copter cam. There's Luke Smith way off the gas before he gets into the turn here, trying to set him up. 39 machine looking at the 63 Toyota here and is about to unseat him as he gets underneath a 1/4 of a second. Now only 0.2 behind, looking for a slight angle here to see if he can overcome the 63. No can do. He's going to have to reel him in a lot closer than that. But watch as we get closer to the end of the run here, and right now he is doing about 3-4 miles an hour faster than him. Dives into turn number 1 and is still going to be playing chase here on lap number 18.
The draft is definitely helping Luke Smith right now when it comes to that number 2 slot. As of right now, ooh, Smith seems to be getting a little bit tight as he loses a little bit of ground on Alexander Green. As we have a battle going on for the number 3 slot between Justin Krasneski and Charles Joplin. Krasneski wants it, Joplin has it. But Krasneski, he manages to complete the pass. Justin Krasneski up to spot number 3.
Yeah, Krasneski almost taking the nose off of Rich Joplin there. Guess he noticed he had the clear, believes in his spotter, and went ahead and swiped up to make a good turn. That last rung there, but right now, awesome job here as we got a few guys out here shuffling. I know Tommy Bordeaux looked like he was dropping off. There's William Page knocking the wall, coming out of 4. That's going to be pretty tough out here for a lot of our guys to overcome this track. You would think as big as it is, a lot of things could happen out there, and a couple of things could change, but it does not seem to be that way. As the track is starting to kind of warm up and cool down in certain areas out there, it doesn't seem to be affecting our drivers at all here tonight. And I definitely recommend anybody who thinks they can come out here and race with the USRL League, they should be able to do something out there to come up with some sort of a plan to get out there and knock down some of the time. So something has happened to Luke Smith out there as he's dropped down 3/4 of a second behind, and it almost looked like Dawson Guzik popped the side of William Page there, but I don't think so. Justin Krasneski is actually working down into pit road, and so is Darren Ingram. Our first couple of takers heading down. There we go. Now we got more than a couple. Noah Joyce joining as well. Wow.
Definitely, we are starting to see the signs of green flag pit stops coming around as we are 20 laps into this race. So now remember, everybody has, what was it, 4 sets of tires?
3 extras.
3 sets of tires, so you're talking about probably 20 laps per set. So it could be a strategy game when it comes to some of this. We seen strategy come into play last week. You could definitely see strategy come into play this week as Indianapolis. It could definitely be a game of strategy.
Yep. Now Now, that, you don't see it a whole lot. And guys do have to make a couple of adjustments out there to be fast. And I would say, wonder if anybody out there has considered what they need to do here for the remainder of this race. To be competitive out there. You see a lot of guys backing off a lot here before they have to pit. I'm trying to notice if any of the times that we're seeing reflect any kind of tire wear. I think is what I'm kind of circling around to. Richard Joplin, one of them. We'll pick on him. His best time has been a 54.2. Right now he's running at 56.6. I mean, that is a huge amount of fall off here for Richard Joplin. But is it because he's not in the draft? Is that because he's not able to keep up with these guys? It kind of shifting around. And Stella is asking out there, is the heat of the track here, Douglas, causing these guys to slip around?
It definitely is causing drivers to slip around on the track, especially when it comes to the corners. When it comes to the exit of the corners, we're seeing more people get loose coming off of the exits of Turn 2 and Turn 4 specifically. But as of right now, yes, the heat is actually going up into the track. We were at 122, but now it's actually starting to fall off. Track temperature's at 115 now, so a little bit of a drop since the start of the race.
Yeah, which is probably going to be a little more favorable for the tires. I think once it gets down to maybe that, if it can drop down about that 102 mark, I think these guys are really going to start picking up some speed out there. Luke Smith, one of our first ones in the top 5, coming down into pits, and that is going to leave Alexander Gonzalez out there as Joplin, Merzlak, and Fleener follow him in.
And unfortunately, there is a driver that did have to serve a penalty. That was John Peterson, too fast entering pit lane, so he is unfortunately going to be losing a lap.
Bam. Definitely a bummer there, and I think Noah Joyce is taking it back to the garage. I was hoping if you could check back and see with any of your team out there that looking at Noah Joyce entering pit lane, it looked like he came in or locked him up, and then all of a sudden he turned and hit the wall. So I don't know what caused it there. We'll see if we can take a peek at it while we have the opportunity. I wasn't sure if he sped in or something, if we had a mechanical failure or what here. Slow down, too fast. Watch this. It's almost like he came in way too fast and then just quit it. Well then.
Interesting.
Yep, our leader. He's coming down pit road as we speak. So we'll see out there on our track map. Number 1 car is in. We are looking at 2 and 3 of William Page and Tommy Bordeaux are down here as well. As William Page working his way, finally getting into his pit box. And that should move our driver, I believe, who came in first here for the race. Justin Krzyzewski is now going to have the lead over top of Cam Barnes, who came in a lap later. 3 seconds apart. Moving Luke Smith into third. Don't take it past Luke Smith to come up with a little bit of speed and come up and grab a hold of second. He's only a second behind.
So currently pit stops are cycling out now. It looks like Alexander Green may end up keeping his lead.
I think, checking back here, I think Alexander Green might have just snugged into 4th.
Yes, it did. It just reset on me. So Alexander Green is in spot number 4.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but this server seems to be drunk here tonight. It's having all sorts of problems out there trying to run it down. It showed Noah Joyce didn't pit, but then he ends up hitting the garage, and he's been sitting down there for 3 minutes. So I know we've had a little problem here from the Apollo Creed 150 at Indianapolis. A couple of different things are happening out there on the track. And right now, the closest person here to Alex Gonzalez is currently Luke Smith, who is in front of him by less than a second now. So you see that yellow and orange car there up front. And right now, Alex is getting ready to pass a couple of cars here to get out in front. And he does, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, remember some of these paints that maybe John Peterson just passed. Out there in the 43 Ford, who's currently sitting in 15th. I believe a lap down here. Heartbreaker of a race for some of these guys, already kicking off this one. Barnes was behind by 3 seconds. Now he's cut it down to only 2. And a matter of a couple of laps here. So not bad by Cam Barnes. I'm sure we'll see Barnes and Krzyzewski go at it here in a moment. But laying down some super fast time out there with a 53.65. Alex Green is doing an awesome job here. And seeing how they can do. And even Jay out there saying he was lagging during practice. I know I was trying to find you on the track, but you wouldn't stop a blinking. All right, now it does looks like everybody's got their blinking under control. Out here as we are coming up on the halfway point of this race. Douglas, kind of give us an overview here, man, of what is going on out there and what is this, what you see from your angle.
As of right now, from what I'm seeing on my angle, there's quite a bit of a lead between Justin Krzyzewski and Cam Barnes. That is actually dwindled down by like 1.9 seconds. Luke Smith currently sitting in third. Alexander Green trying to gain back some of the ground that he lost from that last green flag pit stop. So he's sitting in spot number 4 right now. And rounding out the top 5 is Charles Joplin. So we'll just have to see if Alexander Green can make up the 3.3 seconds that he's currently behind the leader.
Yeah, these guys almost having 4/10 longer in the pit box out there is really hateful for them to get back on the track and remain competitive out there. They're pretty tough what we're looking at here. Most guys shifting upwards. Everybody who's currently sitting in the top 3 positions either started deeper into the top 10, so they now gain leading spots. Brandon Newby started back down in 18th. Right now, I think he's in trouble of a 3 wide here. Newby out there in the 14 looked like something had happened. I was getting ready to talk about how well he had done picking up 7 positions here tonight, sitting 11th, but now that only gives him 5 as he drops down to the 13th spot. Let's check in on David Callahan out there in the number 20 Toyota. Should be him there on the outside. So far, so good.
David Callahan, he pushed up the racetrack a little bit. That'll give Tommy Bordeaux another spot. That should move him up into spot number 12. Or actually, spot number 10.
Yeah, we'll take another peek at our guys up here in the front. Luke Smith, this is him shooting to the inside of Alex Gonzalez. And Alexander Gonzalez had a little bit of wiggle room out there to get around Luke Smith, but now Luke Smith is starting to apply the pressure. So right now we are currently seeing 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here clumped together all within a quarter of a second of one another, trying to go at it. Luke Smith looks like he might be losing the battle, though, as Cam Barnes swings down to the bottom. That'll help Luke Smith get up alongside Alexander Green here and keep it going. Have I confused everybody yet? Calling him Alex Gonzalez, Alexander Green. I mean, I'm switching it up as many times as I can think.
And right now, the battle is heating up for the number 2 slot. Alexander Green, he will take the number 2 spot away from Cam Barnes, so Barnes will settle back into spot number 3. And Luke Smith, he might be wanting that 3rd podium position from Cam Barnes.
Yeah, trying to break the draft again. Alex Gonzalez drops down to the inside. That kind of makes it a little bit harder there for Luke Smith to make that pass heading in turn number 3. They keep moving on around. Luke Smith is going to get caught Once he got around Cam Barnes, he's not going to have that turn speed that he needs. But is Luke Smith hanging off like he did the first stint? Maybe. Right now, Luke Smith definitely wants to keep close, half a second behind Alex Smith now. Or, excuse me, Alex and Smith are getting away right now, half a second off Luke Smith. And then we rotate back looking at Cam Barnes, who now drops down to fourth. Now, Douglas, Justin Krasniewski, he pit on lap 19 a lot earlier, almost 2 or 3 laps earlier than everybody else on the track. Is there a chance that this stint on these set of tires, he tries to drag it out farther than everybody else?
It could be a very well possibility, coming in a different time than everyone else. Justin Krasniewski, he is definitely probably one of the drivers that is playing the strategy game. So probably expect the 05 to extend it out a little bit more time.
Now, and you'd also think to see some of these guys riding a little closer to the high line out there to see if they can come up with a little bit different traction out there and hold on to the track. Come up with some more speed, if not a little tire conservation here. Currently, our top 3 only separated by a second out there. Not bad out there by Alex Gonzalez Green. Currently sitting in second, looking to see if he can get back up to the front. Slowly chopping away. Oh man, that is him all over the leader right now. As I said, slowly chopping away. He goes ahead and shaves off a huge amount of time. 55.5 for our leader. And it was 54.8 previous lap. So that was impressive when you can pick up 7/10 of a lap.
So Alexander Green will move back to the number 1 slot. Justin Krasniewski will sit in second, and Luke Smith rounding out our top 3. And then about 2 seconds back, we find Cam Barnes in spot number 4, and spot number 5 is Charles Joplin.
Right now out there, we're trying to see if we can find somebody out there with a little bit of a battle. Everybody separated by about half a second from one another out there.
Right now, I think the battle is about to heat up for spot number 2 right now, as Luke Smith has caught Justin Krasniewski, so Smith is going to try and find a preferred line to get past Krasniewski, probably going to take the inside route going down the back straightaway, and here goes Luke Smith trying to get spot number 2.
Wow. This looks like Justin Krasniewski went ahead and completely let off the gas there. Let him sling on by as Luke Smith. He's got a tall hill to climb here. And now he's got to figure out how to find that leader. He's out by over a second and not trying to depend on everybody else for the draft. Right now, these are our top 2 drivers. In the top 3, Smith and Krasniewski. Krasniewski now starting to lose a lot of ground here, off by about half a second. And finding Luke Smith. Move back to Scott Fleener, who's currently 7th. William Page, who's been battling to get into the top 10 here. That gives him 8 lost here on the night. A couple of guys are still shuffling around out there trying to come up with something. And when you get to a race like this, and the amount of history that comes here, does it make you want to race a little bit harder when you show up to the Brickyard?
Definitely, it all depends on the driver. Some of these drivers, You definitely want to race as hard as they can. Some others want to be as smooth as possible when it comes to this track, so it really all depends on the driver.
Hmm. Yeah, I would question, you know, you come to a place like this, it's, you know, guys want to win at Indianapolis, guys want to win at Daytona. I mean, they want to win everywhere, but there are always the big ones that you look out for, is going out there and trying to come away with that cup. Especially, you know, you end up at a track like Talladega, Daytona, Indianapolis, some of these super speedway tracks that you can just get so much speed, so little room for error. The one little nudge and one little push can end up ruining somebody's night, if not everybody else is behind you. So guys definitely start to hone in their skills, and during practice time, make sure they know exactly what they're doing out there.
Caution on the racetrack.
Caution. Excellent. Excellent. We see a little something going on out here. We're hovering around looking for trouble. I think this one might involve Tommy Bordeaux. We will double check and see what happened to Tommy Bordeaux. Hoping he didn't end up with some disconnect here. Set on lap 36, a bunch of people had passed him here. I'm not showing anything happening out there on the track. Maybe somebody can give us a little bit of an insight here as to what brought our caution out. Alright, pace car lights are on. We might go ahead and give one of these guys a question out here as to what in the world and why this kind of thing happened. Because if I were the leader right now of Alexander Green, I would be pretty upset. I just laid down some insanely fast times. We tried to get things to happen, and it just kind of shuffles everybody up out here. I would expect to see Mr. Peterson and Mr. Donahue probably stay out there on the track. Donahue actually coming down. Alright, some of these guys are going to do tire and fuel. See how they handle that, and who can escape off pit road sooner than later. Somebody out there did some short pitting, though. That driver is going to be Tommy Bordeaux, 9.13 in the box. That's going to shift him all the way up to 6th. Oh, interesting call out here. Let's see what happened out there. Maybe I can grab one of our drivers. Actually, I may be wrong. Unable to collect anybody from our race channel. Let's see. Maybe we can find a little something from Cam Barnes out there. Cam Barnes, you got a copy?
Yeah.
All right, man. Third place here for you tonight. Up 6 from where your original qualifying is. I do want to start and talk out a little bit about the race here tonight, but first, what brought out our caution here tonight?
Lap car trying to go underneath and went to Timbuktu and kind of went up into me. So, yeah, they trying to pass me on the backstretch like the lap before and got pretty far in. I was leaving them room and they backed out, and then they did the same thing here and didn't back out, and then decided to run into the grass. So I'm not sure. Obviously, kind of sucked because I was really hoping the strategy would play out there. Feel like we had pit a couple laps before the people in front of us and take advantage of the tires, but we will see.
All right. Well, what was the chance of grabbing the guy who was involved, man? We were kind of scratching our heads here as what brought out our caution here for tonight. I wasn't sure if this was a competition caution where they had started bringing you guys back together to try to get a little more side-by-side racing. How do you keep your concentration out there on the track when these cars start getting pulled apart in single file?
Just, not losing focus. Me and Justin there were on a different strat, so just remembering that, hey, these guys are faster really because they're on fresher tires, and we'll have to play into that when we have the fresher tires and try to build the gap back and not let them catch us as quick. It's kind of the goal there, but obviously was to come out and head of Justin instead of behind him. So.
Now, I guess we're going to be scrapping that one now. All right, so here we, yeah. Well, here we go. Are going to squeeze it out at the end. Oddly enough, when we get this back under green, how do we get our way back to the front, man? What are you aiming to do?
I don't know. Just hope it sticks.
All right, well, I'm sure you're going to be aiming for the fresh air spot here, and hopefully you can get up front and make it happen. Good luck to you, Cam.
Thank you, sir.
All right, everybody, that is going to be for Cam Barnes out there. He would love to come away with something at it. So let's see how Cam Barnes does. We'll sit inside his race car here.
Here we go back to green flag action. Alexander Green ends up really taking that number 1 spot back. Luke Smith, he's going to go to spot number 2. Cam Barnes, spot number 3. Justin Krasneski. Oh, caution's out again.
Dawson Guzik is the first driver I saw go around. And that car may be broken. So we get Dawson Guzik finally out here with the USORL League and gets caught up in this caution here. We'll see what causes it. This is diving into turn number 1. Oh, yeah. I think that car just bounced up on Dawson there. I gotta know what happened here, because it wasn't just him. Darren Ingram has also got a boatload of damage as well. Let's see, so Ingram sitting behind this whole spiel. Yeah, Fleener comes into Page. Gets into Donahue there. That's Ingram trying to shoot the gap with no dice.
Unfortunately, it looks like Darren Ingram may be done for the night as he has taken his car back to the garage.
Wow. Well, if any of these guys can get their car fixed and back out there, they could gain a couple of positions, which would be useful for some pitting out there. As we see Dawson Guzik's machine under a minute and a half out there of repair. I'm sure we're going to see him down there for a little while longer. So he is going to have his hands full. All right, little offset pitting for some. Tommy Bordeaux, Scott Fleener, William Page, David Callahan. Who else? Zach Krastowski, and I believe that's Donahue returning back down in the pit. This will be his 4th visit to the box. Dawson out there in the chat saying he just ran out of a little bit of talent there. He did get down toward the bottom, bounced back up the track a little bit, but yeah, it just goes to show you how close that these drivers do race amongst one another here. End up in a little bit of trouble, a little bit of a scramble out there trying to come up with something. And I guess that gap just closed a little too fast out there. Well. Definitely a scramble here. I don't know what they're going to be expecting here. Get out of this, but a little bit of pit strategy from ones there in the back. Donahue trying to get some more repairs done. Looked like Hen Bordeaux had about a 16-second pit stop time. Zach Krastowski working his way on down the pit road. Fortunately, with the speed that these guys are going, about that 65, 70 miles an hour. Yeah, even Cody Hyde out there is recommending it. Jay, he should race or broadcast as much as he's in the iRacing chats. Yep. That's exactly how Stella got in the booth. Douglas got in the booth because he wouldn't stop bothering me. No, I'm just kidding. Trying to keep you alive out there, Douglas. I hear you getting a little quiet there, man. Definitely make me sound like I got motor mouth out here.
So, we go back to Green Flag Racing. Our top 5 should be Alexander Green, Luke Smith, Cam Barnes, Justin Krasneski, and Charles Joplin still hanging into the top 5. Steven Merzlak hanging into spot number 6. Bordeaux, he's still gaining some ground right there in spot number 7.
Some of these guys are going to have their hands full here, especially with this restart. It definitely, I know Cam Barnes isn't happy about it, but I do like how it kind of is taking all the drivers and crunched them up pretty well. This gives these guys a little bit of an opportunity out there to get back at it. That's Tommy Bordeaux. Be getting at it here. Boy, Tommy is laying off, though.
Back to Green Flag Racing. Alexander Green, he's wasting no time at all. He does good on those starts. This is spot number 1, takes a good advantage ahead of Luke Smith, who will stay in spot number 2. And we travel back to Cam Barnes in spot number 3, Justin Krasneski in spot number 4. Oh, and we have Steven Merzlak going up the track a little bit. He's currently doing battle with Brandon Newby.
Yeah, right now Newby is up 12 here on the night. That 14 Ford, happy about new tires here. He's definitely using them right off the bat to see if he can get his way up to the front. But I believe Steven Merzlak in the Sim Wrap Market Machine is trying to find what he can do to get back up to the front, as he's lost 2 here on the night. If he can at least get back to his qualifying spot, I think his sponsors would be pretty happy out there. But single file already, and we are right back to it again with 15 to go.
15 laps to go. Like I said, everybody is staying single file pretty much from the top 10 and back. John Peterson looks like he can get back down to the road. He's going to have to serve a penalty again.
I wonder what happened. John Peterson, as he falls way back here. Still sitting 13th. I don't see any tires going on, so he is serving time. We are up to 30 seconds now. You know, Alex Green here, especially taking off with this race, it almost seems he starts from a different gear. I mean, from first gear, how he's able to get that launch.
Look at it, and look at this. We have a battle heating up for the number 5 slot between Charles Joplin and Brandon Newby. Newby looks like he had to back out of the throttle there a little bit, so Joplin will hang on to the number 5 slot. And it looks like right behind Newby, Steven Merzlak, he's starting to get a little racy. He wants to get back some of the positions he lost.
Yeah, trying to figure out a little something going on here and what they can do to come up with a different scheme or strategy out there to make something happen. Tommy Bordeaux is taking a peek here to the 71 of Steven Merzlak. Merzlak has lost that position down. We'll see what in the world is going on out there. We'll see how this goes. We'll try to poke in at a driver came from another a driver that came from another league coming down to join these guys and try to see what they can do. Dawson Guzik here in the booth currently, and we'll see what he has to say. Dawson, this track has been a little bit slick out there for some.
Oh, absolutely. It's been it's super treacherous. You know, on fresh tires there, you got to kind of sit there and be very patient on the gas going into the first couple laps there. Then it seems to really tighten up around like lap 10 to 15, and then for me it seems like it loosened back up and I was able to gain some more time on guys. So it's very very hit or miss, it feels like. You really got to hit your lines, really hit your marks on the stretch.
Yeah, William Page right now having some trouble hitting his lines as he slings into turn 1, goes through the mid-turn between 1 and 2 and nudges the wall. Right now, William Page is starting to put some pressure on Tommy Bordeaux. As you can see, we were in the hunt for Tommy Bordeaux, as he has been fighting a lot of connection issues out here. The 57 did drop to the bottom to stay out of the way, so at least somebody's communicating to the guy that they are losing him. But fortunately, he is not causing any problems out there, and Tommy Bordeaux has been able to fight himself back up to the 6th position. But right now, I do question, does Luke Smith have anything left in the bag of tricks out there to run down Alex Green, who is out front by an easy 1 second lead?
Right now, Luke Smith, he is trying to gain all the ground that he can possibly can. Alexander Green, he is just extending his ground over Luke Smith. So probably what Smith is going to have to rely on is Alexander Green making a mistake. But as of right now, for the way that Green's car is handling, he's pulling away with it.
Yeah, we do see Alex Green trying to break the draft as he comes down to both straightaways here. Right now, we take a look sitting in the passenger seat here of Luke Smith's car. And notice how Alex Green down toward the inside. That is not working out well here for Luke Smith. He's got to come up with something. But honestly, Dawson, I don't know if you're able to get enough draft being this far back.
Yeah, no, it's a little tough from that far back. It seems like when you get within like 2-3 car lengths, that's when the draft is at the strongest, and then it kind of dies out once you're like on their bumper for whatever reason. But yeah, like you guys were saying, man, I think Green, he's gonna be hard to beat tonight. I was watching him in practice, and the dude's on the gas way quicker than everybody else, way sooner. So he's gonna be really tough to pass. Luke's gonna have to make something happen here, or hope for a caution and get to his inside or something here. So
yeah, gonna be pretty tough. Alex Green right now, there he is again, dropping down toward the bottom to break Luke Smith. I would say when we were watching Luke Smith earlier here in the stint of this race, it didn't look like Luke Smith was getting any sort of headway when they're drafting nose to tail, but once they started entering a turn, Luke Smith was able to pick up about 4 to 5 miles an hour faster entering turn 1 or turn 3 out there, and it was almost timed. I could look over here at the speed that he was running, and as soon as we nudged 185 miles an hour, he started picking up speed, which oddly enough, Alex had almost stalled out, and there was no additional speed gain. So a couple of guys are going to be maybe taking that into account. I expected Krasinski and Cam Barnes and Richie Joplin to be up there with Luke Smith, and hopefully this was going to be almost a 3 to 4-way battle here for the lead, but it almost looks like Alex might be able to just kick his feet up and put this one in cruise control.
Yeah, it definitely seems like I think what's going on there at the very end of the towards the end of the stints there, you're really having to back up your corners. That's where I noticed that I was gaining time. If I backed up my corner, I could really get that run off and be really safe going down the straightaway without having to worry about somebody drafting me or anything like that. It's when you were like, it's very hit or miss if you overcook that corner. So, I mean, Luke might be just driving in just a little bit deeper, trying to get the most out of it that he can, but I think in the long run, it doesn't pay off. Yeah. And it looks like he's losing some time here. So.
Yeah, more and more time getting lost as we hop on the Cam Barnes car. That was Rich Joplin making that pass there to the inside, and it is now putting the distance. Boy, Joplin's still starting to roll here. I know I've raced here at Indy before, and I always found I never used quite as much brake as some do. I think I probably had a little bit of right front tire problems just because I didn't. Like you were saying, set up for these turns. But, Douglas, when you get out to a track like this, how do you not think about draft? I mean, I just want to get behind somebody and then mash it to the floor.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and the draft is going to help you in the long run because it does help you pick up a little bit more speed. How is that speed going to help you in like your corner entrances? So it could play a factor, or it could help you in the long run. It really all depends.
Yeah, and you do have to kind of do a whole lot of placement out there. As right now, William Page, he's trying to fight to get back at least semi-close to where he started. Not as bad as the woes before, but notice how much William Page is tacking this thing out. Boy, he slammed that RPM gauge into the red, and it just kept picking up speed there, so that did to get William Page about 191 miles an hour, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Right now, these guys are clumped pretty close together, and that's exactly what you expect to see from a little bit of a 2 to 3 car team to start trying to catch up to the next bunch.
Most definitely, and as of right now, we may be having battle heating up the number 3 slot, or so I thought. Mr. Krasinski still holding on to the number 3 slot. Charles Joplin, he was looking into the inside, but unfortunately Joplin ended up losing all that ground that he gained back. So I think Krasinski will be happy with just finishing in a podium position tonight. But the man that has been on the move is Tommy Bordeaux, as he actually did break into the top 5. And he's trying to reel in Charles Joplin for the number 4 slot. So Tommy Bordeaux is on the move.
Yeah, we haven't seen Tommy Bordeaux in quite a while here. Glad to see one of our admins coming out here and joining us, seeing that Davey Hazard may be down and out. Oddly enough, Davey Hazard was our season 4 and 5 winner at this track. Darren Ingram, who is even with us here tonight, who unfortunately has taken it back to the garage since lap number 40. He was our Season 7 winner. Now, Dawson, I know you, with Super Speedway, you were hoping to kind of come away with a rookie win here tonight, but it's pretty tough. These guys race out there pretty hard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I thought I was looking pretty good there in practice in the first 5 minutes, and then after those 5 minutes, just dropping one position at a time. I think we ended up falling back to, like, I think 11th on pace. And then, you know, I kind of stepped on my foot a little bit going into qualifying, kind of set myself back, and I made up about 4 or 5 positions there in the beginning, was hovering around that 8-7 spot. So, I mean, they're super fast. I think they've been, you know, very clean throughout the night, and it's going to be interesting here at the end, but I think Green's going to pull this one off tonight.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a layup for him, especially with the way he's raced. I don't know if he was any concerned at all, but I think William Page might be. Right now, this is sitting inside William Page's number 42 Mellow Yellow Ford here as we reel in the 97 Chevy. And the Pepsi machine is under fire here as William Page takes the inside as we cross the start-finish line. Still goes to William Page, though, but... still goes to Cam Barnes, but William Page still applying the pressure. Dives into one. Whoa, William Page, and we might have us a caution.
Wreck. That is going to be a caution.
All right,
wow.
Hopefully no one clips him here. A lot of radioing up. William Page smoked out there, and I would say, hopefully he's not too fuming about that, but that one was a little self-inflicted from our angle.
Yeah, I think he got a little happy with that run that he got off of 4. He got a heck of a run. He really arced it out, backed up the corner, and got that run going down out of 4. And got into 1, just overcooked it. And it seems like he got in the wall and got clipped there. So,
man, well, it happens.
That's a heartbreaker. He was dogging me earlier in the race. I'll say that.
Man. All right, we're going to double check because I want to catch a little before this pass. Here's the run he has coming out of 4. And he's giving him a good chase here. He's got the pass. But, man, he is coming in hot.
Little light on the entry there. And he doesn't get low enough, I feel like, and just it doesn't make the apex very well there.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like I said, it's very hit or miss when you're getting into 1. 1 is very, very tight, but then you're going into 4 and you are completely sideways. So you're fighting a battle all the way around the track.
Yeah. Oddly enough, it looks like Cam Barnes gets into the wall before they dive in. The Pepsi machine nudges the wall right there.
Yep.
And then as Cam Barnes gets behind William Page, it's like he takes the air off the rear of the car. Because you see the car almost surge forward. And as soon as it does, the funny part that gets me is as he hits the wall, watch Cam Barnes make a right. I mean, like he knew he was coming back down to the left. He knew he was coming. Wow.
Oh, man, that's a bummer. I know that feeling. The turn 1 wall doesn't taste good.
No. All right. A lot of drivers coming down as it looks like a max exodus here for pit road. Some drivers are going to be kind of staying out to try to get their lap back, and I don't blame them.
I did hear some talks earlier from a couple of drivers. I'm not exactly sure who because I don't know the voices. But I did hear some talks about possible 2 tires with a green-white checkered here. So we'll see. Let's see what kind of times they're putting down. See who gets out quick.
Yeah, I would. Definitely 100%. Alex Green, I hope that doesn't cost him as he cuts through about 8 pit stop boxes there.
Yep, there's 2.
Yep, and Luke Smith
Wow.
going to be able to take
4
that
guys.
away.
4 guys took 2 tires. Wow. Oh, man, that's going to be tough. That's going to be very tough.
Boy, that is a long way to go to shoot through these guys. He has plenty of room, but we have seen him floss his way back up to the front, though.
Yeah, I think what you're gonna have to watch here is, so even on the initial start of the race on them fresh tires, the restarts are horrible as far as tire spin. Um, Normally with this car, I haven't had too many issues with tire spin, but at this track, for whatever reason, that tire spin is pretty bad. So with them two tires, it's going to be very interesting to see how it takes place. Those four tires might take a sec to come in, but who knows? He could just drive around the outside of them. Who knows?
Yeah, is he going to be able to plant and go like he has all race? But Cam Barnes, Tommy Bordeaux, Justin Krzyzewski, and Luke Smith, I would probably say, are a lot of tough drivers he's got to shoot around here. And I believe to his outside, Rich Joplin's going to be there, so it's not like he's going to be able to hang around too long. So Alex Green is really going to have to pick up the pace and figure out his spot to attack out there. A couple of drivers still in pit road, though. Right now I am seeing 4 retirees. Darrell Harris came down, didn't make it to lap 9. Noah Joyce made it to lap 19. He ended up wrecking out. Mr. Guzik in the booth here with us made it to what I'm showing currently lap 41 is where you made it, but Darren Ingram checked out on lap 40.
Yeah, due to my bad.
William Page, he is still sitting down pit road currently as he hangs out in 15th. And William Page out there is saying, whoops, a little too much sauce. So he knows it. He knows it a little too much. That's right. So, Douglas, pace car lights are out. Could be given back under green, hopefully for the final time here tonight.
Hopefully we see this race through the rest of the way. But just in case, we do have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. This is attempt number 1. So, a couple of these drivers doing the 2-tire pit stops, it could be the decision of the race for some of these drivers.
Yeah. Right now, Tommy Bordeaux with a huge blink out there. Now, we lost him about the exit of 2, returns back for the entrance of 3. I mean, man, and that's something else. And I really hate to see something like that, but man, that's going to be super close and super sketchy when you start getting around that 57 Ford. If he blinks out when you're trying to make this pass and get caught with him returning, fortunately, Tommy Bordeaux is doing a great job, and every time you see him coming back, he is off the racing surface or he's down out of where everybody is. So that's going to really have to weigh in on the decisions out there. Luke Smith getting ready to take us to green here.
Oh, some serious tires.
Definitely a lot of tire spin from a couple of those guys who did take 2 tires. So, but watch Alexander Green, who is the first one.
Oh! No!
Oh, big trouble.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're watching Alexander Green wreck out here. That's going to be it for him.
I was worried about that. I figured somebody was going to get loose and then come up the track and come across somebody's nose there. It's exactly what I did.
Holy cow.
Bordeaux really sent it in there. I was really surprised. He took them 3 wide right away as soon as they passed the start-finish line, and he didn't look like he wanted to lift.
Yeah, even Cody Hyde out there saying the big one strikes at Indy. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, I see Joplin saying something out there, but we're, I don't know, too late in the race. I don't think it's a good idea to get them on the air here. Let's take a look and see what transpires this here. Let's go. Take a look. Oh, man.
It looked like Bordeaux hit the apron there, and it caused them to get a little loose and come up the track. Yep. Oh, man. That's a bummer for Green. That really is. He had this race on lock, and to have a caution come out at the end. it's a chicken shoot there at the end. So
I thought Newbie got out of there unscathed. Puts the 20 right back into the wall. Dude. So David Callahan had a chance here. And he gets pinballed. We'll watch him here. All right, wreck happening. Ow. 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 Ow.
4 times. Oh man.
He does right after this send it straight to pit. I think he just said that's it.
He turned that car into Reese's Pieces, that's for sure.
Wow. All right, 63 machine has come down in the pit. And I believe that is him re-emerging. Hood missing. Boy, that would be something if he's able to get back out here and he goes for it.
I mean, the only advantage that he's got to him is he's got fresh tires, but I don't know how well that car is handling. One thing that I found that was pretty wild when we got that first caution there, or after that first pit sequence, I sat there and I checked my tires, and it looked like the right front was sitting at like 61 on the left side, 61 degrees, or 61% wear on the inside, or in the center, but then the outside was 100%. And like I had to sit there and confirm it with some of the other drivers. They're like, "Oh yeah, for some odd reason, this car is not rolling over on that right front at all."
Sounds like a bad camber roll.
Heavily cambered, that's for sure. You can see it in the cars here when they go through.
So as I'm seeing right now, there is a couple of drivers that are currently sitting on pit road still. William Page, Cam Barnes, Brandon Newby, and it looks like Tommy Bordeaux, he's taking his car back to the garage.
Already. So David Callahan and Tommy Bordeaux are done. Does that give us six retirees here for the night? William Page is still teasing us with possibly a return.
Some guys are out there like, put me in, coach. I can still race. Car's destroyed.
Well, you start with 19 drivers, and I think we're up to 2, 4, 6, 7?
I would say probably, yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7 currently sitting behind the pace car. I still think we're waiting for Newbie, Cam Barnes, and Alex Green to get their way back up there. Ugh. Yikes. A couple of drivers still down pit road, though. Donahue should be returning. I don't know about Hen Bordeaux. Hen looks like she will not be returning here, almost 4 minutes in. Holy cow.
What a wild turn of events there. I mean, Smith is looking pretty good at this point, as long as no issues.
All right, William Page says he's enjoying himself a fine beverage. Will not be returning to the track. All right, so it should be our first green-white checkered here. Excuse me, second.
So this is our second attempt at a green-white checkered.
They gonna make it what, about 5 miles?
Something about that.
Yep. All right, pace car heading on off. Hopefully gonna be able to shut the engine off this time. Fortunately, no choose cone to be attacked here tonight. Luke Smith, I would say his biggest driver out there, which we'll double check and see if RC catches for a lane change there in the back. See if there's any problems, but that'll be after the race. We just want to see the white flag go. Single file on there out the back.
And Joplin got a run there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Alex Green already trying to fight up to 9th now. And I think Joplin's going to see if he can line him up here.
Joplin's really got to back up this corner right here, I feel like, to get that run off going down in the corner. A little too much sauce going into the corner there. I feel like if he backs it up, it's the arc.
Yeah, not enough.
And Smith has it covered because he was very straight as an arrow there going off the corner. Let's see what they do here in one.
Smith still hanging out front there. Joplin in the 08 trying to play chase. Right now I think if Smith does not do any mirror driving here, he shouldn't have anything to worry about, but Joplin is getting much, much closer here. Right now looking pretty good. White flag is out here for the Apollo Creed 150.
Yeah, I think that gap coming out of the corner there that you're seeing is Smith is backing up his corner a little bit more to get that run than Joplin is. And it's just allowing him to do his thing. See, he's got it.
Yep, a little bit of a tail whip there. Joplin had a little bit of a tail whip. That's going to do it. Right now, Joplin having a fight off Merzlach here at the line.
Ooh,
Joplin
like
got
Joplin
him.
got him.
Oh my gosh, he just barely got him. Just barely got him. Holy cow. What a finish there by those two.
Yeah, he got a heck of a run going off of 4 there, and he tried to block it. And he's like, nope, I'm going to go a little lower.
Oh, it didn't give it to me. Boo. There you are. Look at that. Oh. Dang.
A few inches. A splitter worth.
So close. Man. I'll say, Douglas, taking a look from your angle there, what is our distance? What's our time?
We're talking 0.11.
Oh.
Man, that's close. Alrighty. Awesome job. Luke Smith coming in clutch here for another win here.
Well, fellas, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you having me in here. I appreciate you guys putting on this league. I think it was pretty awesome. But I'm gonna head out of here. So,
New kid.
you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll catch you next time, maybe.
Oh yeah. All right, Dawson. Appreciate you, buddy, and we'll catch you next time.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Still rocking on through here as we see Luke Smith tearing it on down. Definitely a great job here. Excellent job. Yeah, even Richard Joplin says, man, that was close. Yeah, something tells me you were puckered up right there at the line. Cam Barnes destroying the car. All right, guys, we'll be right back, and we'll try to run these guys down. All right, everybody, we catch up with our third place finisher, Steven Merzlak. What a race here, man. Definitely a nail biter. I would say, how do you keep your concentration throughout the race and then bring up a finish like that?
I mean, you just got to go with what the race throws at you, you know? I mean, we were a little bit everywhere the entire time, and having those late race shenanigans, you know, sometimes you're to bat, sometimes you're to ball, and we were fortunate enough to avoid a lot of that and walk out of here with a first top 3 of the season. First time I get to talk to you guys up here, and really happy with all the work you've been doing this season.
Oh, cool, man. Well, we definitely try to put on a good show out here, and it's your guys' job to keep the show rolling. I don't mean behind the pace car. So, well, it definitely was an awesome race here tonight. We do have Halloween off, but we moved to the Chicago street. Some guys are already going ahead and lifting the toilet seat here and getting ready to throw up. But what do you say? What do you say about Chicago street?
It's a pretty good track. It's not my favorite track. I love road racing. Based on last season, is definitely a challenge for some of these folks. So it'll be one of those where we just keep our nose clean and see where the day takes us. I think we could be right back in this spot weeks from now.
All righty, man. Congratulations. I'm glad to see you up here for a top 3, man. This works out really well. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. Go ahead and give me a shout-out while I got you up here. And talk to me about Sim Rap Market, man. I see it on the car.
Got to give a shout-out to Sim Rap Market. As a member of the team, you know, we're putting out high-quality bases, decals, designs, all sorts of that wonderful stuff at a nice, affordable price. If you head down to simrapmarket.com, follow us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those wonderful platforms, and maybe pick up a design or two. I could say with great authority that a lot of those are pretty good, especially the ones I make.
Ooh, can you get them custom done?
I believe so.
Okay. I've seen some black prism paint I've been looking at that kind of has that rainbow look. Yeah.
That prism goes crazy.
Oh, man, I've been trying to get it, and I definitely want to make sure it lays down nice on the car and looks really well. Steven Merzlak, congratulations, buddy, here at the Apollo Creed 150, and we'll see you in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Yep. All right, man. It looks like Douglas Ross, you're going to be catching up here with Charles Joplin here, our second-place finisher here of the night in the 08 Chevrolet.
And indeed, I am catching up with Charles Joplin right now, finishing in spot number 2. Charles, let me tell you, it was quite a race and quite a finish you had there on the end. Tell us, how'd your race go overall?
It went overall well. I mean, I just felt tight the whole entire race, but I finally just changed my lineup and drove it a little different. And me and Steven had a real close finish right there. That was pretty fun.
It definitely was very fun indeed, and it was really fun seeing it up here in the booth on our end. But tell us, I think during the race, it seemed like a couple of drivers were trying to do a strategy call when that first caution came out. Were you one of the ones that was trying to play like a strategy game when it came to this race?
Oh no, I was just going to run it out of fuel as much as possible, and then take tires and hope for the best. I mean, this is my second race with these guys, and it's the first time I'm up here in the booth talking to you and getting used to all these guys racing with them. I mean, I'm still learning them, so I guess I'm doing pretty good.
You are doing very good indeed. But as of right now, we leave Indianapolis behind, and we are going to be going road course racing, as we are going to be going to the Chicago street course in the matter of 2 weeks. Tell us, how are you feeling going into that race?
I like the street course, Chicago street course. I've run street stocks. I run the next gens. I've ran the Xfinity cars there. I mean, I like it pretty good. I mean, I'm not the best road racer, but I can manage bringing it home, you know. But I mean, I enjoy racing there.
It's definitely going to be an exciting race there indeed. Charles, give us your shout outs for anybody that's watching.
I appreciate Outliner letting me run their paint and their setups in the Open Series officials. We got to thank They ain't on my car yet, but I got to thank Flaming Carmen Paint Designs and Navy Joe Coffee. I mean, Navy Joe is one of my sponsors in the other league I run in, so I got to give a shout out to that.
Definitely, indeed. Charles Joplin, congratulations once again on your second place finish. Patrick, we're taking it back up to you.
All righty. Charles Joplin, congratulations, man. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
All right, man. Awesome job here. Now let's go ahead and move to the frog out here and figure out how Luke Smith is doing. Luke, what a race, man. It definitely worked out here in your favor at the end.
Oh yeah, I definitely did not deserve that win at all, but held on, used lessons that I learned from a race here probably 2 or 3 years ago, and this time I didn't wreck Cam Barnes in turn 4 like I did 2 years ago when I was the one on 4 tires.
Oh, man. Well, I was going to say, looking back at previous winners, man, you have not won here at Indianapolis, and everybody wants to go ahead and mark this off their list as a win. All 3 Chevrolets in the top 3. You move up outside the top 5 to come away with a win, and man, oh man, did Alex Green. He had your guys' number here tonight. What was the difference he was making that out there on the track compared to what you were doing?
Yeah, I thought the very first run of the race, I thought I could hang with him, and I caught them from about 2 seconds back, and I was driving up to them, and I'm like, oh, I got this. They burned their stuff off, and then all of a sudden he clicks off half a second faster, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I burned my stuff trying to catch him. I had no idea what he was doing different, and I had nothing for him. I could only somewhat hang in his tire tracks, but he was the class of the field. I just happened to get lucky with that late caution, and I didn't want to screw up the same way I screwed up a couple years ago where I took 4 tires and kind of just drove through guys to try and get to the win. I was like, I'm going to take 2 tires and hope this thing handles decent enough.
Man, and yeah, the track being as hot as it was, super slick it gets, but, well, we talk about slick, and now we're going to be heading to the Chicago Street Course here in the next couple of weeks. I can't tell you that I'm excited, especially if I were a driver. A few guys have been greeting the tires that end up on those temporary walls. Confidence level heading into a place like that, man.
I've never driven on the track before, so it is super high, as you could imagine. Yeah, I just bought the track a couple weeks ago. I do not feel good going into that one, but I'm going to do my best to at least just finish the race.
I've only broadcast one race from that location, and the net code was so bad that I pray that it is 10 times better than what it was. I cannot imagine it going any worse than the first time I was there. But, Luke, congratulations on your win here. Go ahead and give me your shout-outs, and we'll let you get you ready for that track.
I like to shout you guys out first off. You guys put on an awesome broadcast. I love to go back and watch it. Got to shout out John Peterson. He puts the paint scheme on this car, and it always looks great. He put Oshawott on this car, and this car is the spooky season special, and it is awesome. I like to shout out Cam Barnes for, even though we haven't always on the track not wrecked each other, him for having me as a teammate and having confidence in me. And that's pretty much it. Oh, last off, like to shout out the admins. This league is fun. I enjoy coming out racing, and it's always competitive and fun and makes me happy.
Awesome. Hey, is there any way I can get you to talk a little bit of trash about Davey Hazard not turning up out here?
Well, he was in the chat with us, and he said he was talking about how he had to put a shifter plate on his shifter to be able to race. And yeah, I just want to talk trash and be like, the shifter plate takes 10 seconds, but I told him to just race on sequential, but he wanted to be too immersed in it with his H pattern to race. So I think he was just scared of all of us.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's getting a little tired of looking at that spoiler out there. All right, Luke Smith, appreciate you, man. That's what I needed.
Thank you.
See you in a couple weeks.
See you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us as Luke Smith comes away with a win here with Big Machine Records presenting the Apollo Creed 150 here at Indianapolis at the Brickyard. Excellent race here tonight. Did get single file out there, which means that Douglas owes me a little bit of money, so we're gonna try to squash that beef after we go ahead and sign off here. All right, guys, and also keep in mind, next week Halloween. Take your kids out. Go have fun. We will not be on here next Thursday. I will see you the following Thursday at the Chicago Street Course. But until then, that's going to do it for us here at SimTrack Broadcast and bring you the USORL Series. Douglas Ross joining me here in the booth. Be well, be safe, be kind. We'll see all you guys next time.